I'm Daniel, the past life regressionist, and it's time to begin.
Lift off and the clock has started.
This is Timeless Spirituality. Enjoy Eternity Time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Timeless Spirituality. It is time for a brand new episode, and this one was recorded back in January of 2025. So I believe that there were some references to the LA wildfires, so that was what was being discussed at the time. I just wanted to throw that out there for context, but it is a fun one, and I think it just has so much heart to it. So I'm really excited for you guys to listen to this week's episode. And also, I want you guys to go ahead and check out the Expanse method if anyone is interested in going deep and expanding and just having a very expansive opportunity. I guess that's the best way that I could put it. If you guys want a little bit more with regards to what goes on during those sessions, you can listen to any episode that starts with the Expanse method followed by a colon, and it'll be a little more informative for you guys. But I've been having tremendous success with it, and I just want to get it out there to the world. So I hope that you guys will check it out. So with all of that said, if you would like to book a regression with me to discover who, when, and where you have been throughout time, you can reach me on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist, or you can go ahead and book through my website, thepastliferegressionist.com. And now, it's time to begin. Ydaiber, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing good. Today is a really good day. It rained and we have sunshine and the air is starting to be a little clearer in LA, which is nice. And I'm safe, and that's something that I cannot take for granted right now after so many people are experiencing so much devastation. So yeah, it's good. It's a good day.
Are you ready for the first question?
Oh, wow. Yes. Let's dive into it.
So what is your favorite song about time?
It's so funny because my first language is Spanish, right? So if you were to ask me the lyrics to any song in English, I could not tell you. Like, even after I have lived in this country more than half of my life. So the first song that comes to mind when talking about time is a song in Spanish that is literally called ¿Qué hora es?, which is what time is it? And it has like the most silly lyrics, but the rhythm is like super contagious. So I just remember how that song made me feel when I first heard it. But it was also one of those songs that made me really nostalgic because I had just moved from Venezuela. So for me, it was also a way to kind of connect back to my country in some way. Like everybody liked it there. And then everybody started playing it here too in the Spanish station. So it was that time. So for me, it's a significant time of my life because it was a big change.
So it's like the association with just like you said, the change in your life. So right, so it's the feeling that comes along with the rhythm.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So for me, it's like that. I think because I never came to this country with the intention of staying. I feel that was a way to keep me grounded on what my culture is and what my people wear and all of that. And I think that by then I had already started to realize that I was going to stay and that this was going to go and this was going to be a long-term thing versus just a 6-month thing. So those things like music, food, friends, those are the things that kept me connected to my roots. And years later, it's a song that we still hear it, and it's inevitable for us to dance or make fun of because it's a silly song.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I'll go with the rhythm. All right. My next question for you. What do you believe in?
I believe in connection and love. And I think they are interchangeable for me. So I have learned over the years that the most pure relationships come from a place of honesty and connection, and that that feeling that is so hard sometimes to describe being love. So everything that we do, everything that we aspire, everything that we dream of have a theme of love connected to it. So whether I believe in a higher power, that to me is still love. Whether I believe in what I feel for my family, that's still love. So that's the main thing for me. So I would say I really, really believe in a sentiment that connects me to everything that I do, to everything that I want.
What do you feel the difference is between belief and faith?
So I could believe that, let's say I believe that I'm talented. That's a belief. I have faith that I can be successful because of my talent. So for me, faith encompasses something larger. And it's almost, even if I don't believe in myself sometimes, there is that bigger feeling of knowing and trusting that I am taken care of, that there's something bigger than me that is holding it, that I don't have to see it, that I don't even have to believe it for it to happen. So it might take me a little longer to get there because I don't believe it yet. But deep inside, there's this feeling of knowing, this inner knowing of like, it's going to happen for me. I know it's going to happen for me. How, when I have to let go of that. But it's that bigger thing that I can't manipulate or that I can work around it. It's like I either have it or I don't have it. So it's like I have to really constantly remind myself there is something bigger out there that has my back.
Damn, that was good.
Thank you.
All right. And probably the most difficult question I'll ask you today. Well, I was about to say, who are you? But who's Ydaiber?
I love talking about myself by saying that I am a multi-passionate creatrix, just because that to me encompasses pretty much everything that I would attach titles to. So I am a very loyal person who believes in herself, but that also has a huge, huge desire for helping others. Like my biggest passion in life, besides performing, is probably seeing the results of helping someone in any shape or form. It gives me the biggest high of my life. So that makes me, be a coach, be a friend, be a wife, a daughter, all of those things, all those titles that we give. But the essence of Ydaiber, I would say, is loyalty, dreamy, because I dream a lot. I have a lot of big ideas and big dreams, and service. I think service is a big portion. Creating impact is probably one of my biggest values. Yeah, that's it.
I like your answer better for belief and faith, but that was a good one too.
It's harder, right? When you have to talk about yourself, at least for me. I guess, there's always that doubt of judgment of am I being too humble, or am I being too show off by saying these things, or am I saying the right thing by putting labels? Like there's that always playing in the back of my mind, at least. And I'm going to be completely honest about it. It's just something that even when I'm feeling that I can be completely authentic, there's going to be that part of me that it's like filtering some of the stuff that I say, because what if this makes me sound like a bitch, or what if this makes me sound like an idiot? So that we all have that voice, and yeah, that voice came up.
I was just joking. I thought it was a really good answer. I'm sorry that I sent
No,
you on that spiral.
No, I think that's a good thing, actually, because that now to me it's like, oh, well, now she's, the person listening hopefully would say, oh yeah, so she's still real, and and someone who it's not afraid of going there.
So far, you seem likable.
Yeah,
I mean, I already know you, but I'm just saying, like, as a listener, because I like to put myself in the shoes of the listener while I'm hosting. I'm like, yeah, she seems likable right now. This is good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you're good. As I put a thumbs up that no one else can see right now. All right, let's shift gears a little bit right now. Why is it that you wanted to have a past life regression?
Well, I think so many reasons, but I have a big connection with death, because three of the most important people in my life are gone. And I think I always been very curious about whether there was a connection prior to this life and whether there will be a connection beyond this life. I think for me, the thought of this being it is extremely depressing. And even though deep inside I felt that I knew the answer, I guess I wanted validation. I guess I wanted someone to guide me through it and remind me that we all have those answers, but that it's okay to seek guidance when we just don't know how to get there or how to confirm them if we need to. So for me, it was an act of love again, because I feel that I just wanted to feel that connection with them again in some way, to see what if we were parts of each other's lives before. And not just the ones that are gone, but the ones that are still here with me. It's like feeling so strongly about my relationship with my mom, who I'm very, very lucky to have, and my husband, who I'm extremely lucky to have as well. I wonder, have we felt this before? Have we been together before? I was very, very curious about that. And also there was a curiosity around, I wonder if some of the stuff that I carry with me in this life has nothing to do with this life. Some things that you work in therapy, some things that you work in other sorts of modalities, and they still seem to be there. And you're like, okay, come on, I keep working on this and it keeps showing up. So one day I say, what if it's something that it comes from another life, and it's something that I have no control on this one, but the thought or the confirmation that maybe this is something I'm carrying maybe gives me the freedom to stop with whatever that is, right? So I think it was all those things combined, but I think the biggest one for me was the connection with my loved ones.
Would you mind talking a little bit about that? Are you comfortable going there with the loss that happened when you were younger?
Yeah. So when I was 24, I was living in Orlando, and I had this weird feeling that something was going to happen. And I had just started dating my husband. So we were like boyfriend, girlfriend for not even a month. Like, this is like brand new relationship. And we knew each other from university. So I guess I was comfortable enough sharing some things. And I remember driving, he was driving, I was in the car, and I said, I feel that something bad is going to happen. And I started crying, but really, really bad. And he was like, whoa, okay, this is a little weird. And, kind of like, I let it go. He's like, it's going to be fine. Whatever it is, it's probably you're just anxious. You're probably overworked. I was working a lot during that time. The next day, I talked to my sister over the phone, and I say, hey, I don't know why, but I can't shake this off. I'm like, I have this weird feeling that something is going to happen. Can you please take care of yourself? And she's like, oh, your best friend just lost her dad. Maybe you're just so connected to her that you're feeling this. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Maybe that's what it is, But a couple of days later, my sister died in a car accident. So the moment that she was dying, I saw the accident in my head. Like, I was driving myself while that was happening. And I saw a car falling off a bridge in my mind. And I kind of freaked out, got to my boyfriend's house, and I say, I think I have to go back to Venezuela. And he's like, oh, please, like, don't start again. Like, this just happened a few days ago. I'm like, no, I just feel I have to go back. And went to bed, and got the call a couple of hours later. And when I matched the time back, it was exactly at that time that was happening. So my sister has been the biggest heartbreak of my life. This happened in the year 2000, and I still feel it like if it was yesterday. And not yesterday, but recent. And then in 2016, I lost my brother in the same exact circumstances. I lost him to a car accident as well. And then in 2021, I lost my dad to COVID. So very profound, deep losses. And there was a little bit of, there is sometimes still survivor's guilt. Why them and not me? Trying to figure that out, trying to wrap my head around that, trying to justify it. And obviously the pain of not having siblings, the sister that I had so many plans with, not seeing her graduate, not seeing her getting married, not her seeing me doing. So there was a lot of There was a lot of pain. There was so much pain for so many years. And I think that it was not until my dad died, actually, that I started working on all of this. So we're talking about only 4 years ago that I started really going deep. It's like I done therapy, I done things, but I never really like allow myself to grieve. I never allowed myself to express myself. I think the main reason why I started a podcast in the first place was that I could share that story or those stories to honor them in some way, and to me, part of doing the past life regression was having a little bit of that back, a little bit of that I didn't get to experience with them. I'm like, maybe they have a message for me. Maybe they'll give me something that will allow me to have some closure. And we did. For me, the most profound part of that past life regression was that.
So what came up for you?
We had a beautiful reunion. And there was a lot of tears, but there was a lot of support and love. And there was promises that I haven't fulfilled yet. But there was also a feeling of peace that really was rewarding, that really was probably the best thing I got out of the whole thing, of knowing that this is when faith also plays a good part in it, right? Knowing and trusting that this is just a part of it. This life is a part of it, but it's never going to be the whole story. This is just one tiny part. Sometimes it feels so long, right? Because I haven't had my sister for 24 years. But at the same time, it's like it feels, time is so it's like it just happened, and who knows how many more years will pass before I see her again, right? Having them coming to me in dreams, especially my dad. My dad has been like the biggest guide I have had. I did not have that from him in life. And having had that now in death, it's been a gift. It's like the messages that my dad sends me. He's the most active out of the three, maybe because he's the most recent too. But it gives me so much peace to know that they're okay, that there's other missions and other things to be accomplished, and that I am being guided, that I'm being protected, that I'm being supported, and that the people that I have in my life right now are there also for a reason. And this goes into another whole thing of, beliefs and things of what I believe happens before we come to this world, right? And how we decide to come together and how we decide to continue the journey of growth as a family, even if it's friends, even if family is friends, right? And it just continues to evolve, and every life has most of the same people as part of it. I mean, to me, all of that is so fascinating and so reassuring too.
Were there past life components there, or past life explanations for circumstances?
During the session, yes, there was a big one that I think it's probably one of the most impactful ones that happened during the
Sorry,
session.
I don't know why I was phrasing that as a question where I already knew the answer to it.
Well, there were two main things that happened too. One was related to my difficulty asking for help and how much I struggle in this life with not so much being vulnerable. I think I have gone past that, but about being vulnerable enough to ask for help, to be humble enough to ask for help, to recognize that maybe I don't have the capacity to do something. That has been a huge lesson for me. And then when we went to actually the very, very first life that we regressed to, and realizing that in that life, everybody that I asked for help closed their door. And even though I was desperately knocking and begging and pleading for help, and the help was not given, that helped me realize that, oh, that's why I have such a hard time asking for help, because I feel that this is life or death also. That if I ask for help and they say no, I'm going to die, and understanding that has freed me so much. Like, I'm so unapologetic about asking for help now. A little too much, maybe. But I think this is the first time in my life when I'm actually allowing myself to be not the strong woman that everybody thought I was. being okay with saying, I don't have the bandwidth to take on this project, or I don't have the energy to continue to work on this, and it's okay to step away from it. It's the first time in my life the old Ydaiber would have been push through it, push through it, push through it, get it done, because there was pride. There was a lot of pride in progress, in perfection, in results. Now I take pride on like, oh, I asked for help and somebody else did it and nobody died and everything was great. And now I can continue with my portion of it versus having to be the one who does it all. It's been very liberating. I think it's a work in progress, but that was probably a huge lesson from that.
Why did you phrase it as you weren't the strong woman that everyone thought you were?
I think I always been given a label that was not a chosen label of you're so strong. Man, you're so strong. And I think part of it is because of the losses, right, that I have experienced. The losses, and then if you add into that the fact that, I moved to this country by myself, and I have moved cities to cities to cities, and I have started over so many times, and I've been willing to leave everything behind and start from zero again just because I wanted to act, or just because I wanted to be a coach, or just because I wanted to try a new city, right? And people are like, man, I could never do that. You're so strong. I think there was a point, I want to say it was right around the death of my dad, where I was like, I threw my hands in the air and I said, I do not want to be strong anymore. Leave me alone. I want to cry. I want to just like be taken care of. I want somebody to hold me. I don't want to be the warrior anymore. So I think both things can coexist. I still find myself as a very strong woman who is very now connected to the feminine side, to that humbleness of asking for help, to the simplicity of giving up sometimes. I would have never had allowed myself to do that 10 years ago. Never. It's like I would never give up on anything, even if it killed me, even if it caused heart. It didn't matter. I will not. I have a friend who used to tell me like I was like a dog with a bone. He's like, girl, you don't let it go, huh? And I'm like, no, I have to win. Now I don't care. Go win, have fun. I'll be here. I'll be cheering you up from here. It's not about that anymore.
I mean, I may have a very warped perception of these things, but I see that as strength, what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
That throwing your hands in the air a bit, because you had a way of doing things before. And it was probably very scary, the thought of not showing up 100,000% in any given moment. It's like people who go rock climbing, not just up like a 10-foot boulder or something like that, but a big ass mountain without a rope. And people think, oh my God, they're so brave. That's so scary. Like, yeah, I wonder if they could sit on the couch and do therapy. Not to say that it's not. No, it's just stupid to do without a rope. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's a different kind of brave and courageous.
Yeah.
But maybe courage isn't as stereotypical as we think that it is, or strength isn't the way that. I mean, you and I, we're only a couple of years apart. I mean, you're 29,
10.
I'm 38. And
yeah, sure.
Yeah, forever 29. And I think this also goes back even further than our lifetimes with movies, and how it's the big burly man that's the strongest, the one who never cries, the one who's always riding on his horse into the sunset. And smoking a cigarette. Now, there's anything wrong with that, if that's your thing. But I think that we were just all kind of brought up to see that as strength. And anything besides that is just weakness.
I mean, yeah, that's a great reminder, because, even with all the work that I've done, I forget that sometimes, and absolutely I was brought up that way. I mean, Hispanic, first girl in the family, I was like, my dad was like, you're gonna win, like that was the message. And I was so competitive growing up because of it, because I had to constantly prove myself and prove my dad that I was worth of his attention and love and praises, and, getting my validation that way, right? By being Little Miss Perfect and the ideal daughter and doing all these things that then, of course, I brought into school and relationships and later on. But yeah, I forget how much bravery it takes to be vulnerable, how much courage it takes to show that side of you. And yeah, it feels pretty badass sometimes.
Well, what do you think the healthy dose of masculine to feminine is?
I guess, it probably varies for everybody, but I think for me, my masculine side comes in ways of assertiveness, having the capacity to speak for myself, having the capacity to challenge people sometimes, which especially men don't like that. And that to me feels healthy because I am not going to allow any authority to undermine me. I was telling you before we started, like with doctors, like I'm like, trust me, I go prepared to my doctor appointments. I'm like, you're not going to like undermine my symptoms or anything. So I think that's where that assertiveness come very handy. I think, having goal oriented, it's not like women don't, right? But men tend to be a lot more like blah 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 results, right? So having that, it's healthy to a certain extent to being able to make decisions on how to approach work or projects or whatever you want to do. But I think, a man who's not in touch with their feelings is so unattractive for me. It's like, ugh, I just can't, right? So I want to be surrounded by friends and, especially from my partner. I expect that a level of vulnerability and I expect a level of willingness to go there with me. It's like, we're gonna talk deep shit. I need you to go there too. And he struggles. I mean, like my husband, it's he was not brought up that way, of course. But he has learned, or he has made an effort to share when something is hard, when something that may have been hurtful for him. That was not the case when we first started, so I think we both have been able to acquire qualities or bring the best qualities in both of us by showing, right, by modeling the behavior. And I think that the moment that I start giving myself permission of being more of that feminine, open-hearted woman, then he was like, oh, okay, so let me be real with my feelings too, versus trying to, oh yeah, no, I don't have to express my love, or no, that doesn't exist anymore. If it existed, it lasted for very little, because I think we both made an effort to be like, we need both of these sides of us. So for me, the healthy dose is the dose that allows me to still be assertive when it comes to work, when it comes to making decisions, and to be my best feminine self when I need support, when I need love, when I need and ask for it, and being able to express it. I'm able to, when I'm feeling so much love for someone, I'm like, I tell them, I don't hold that anymore. I'm like, I'm not like, oh, I wonder if they feel it the same. No, I just say it. I'm like, oh, mom, I love you. I have no filter when it comes to expressing those things.
I have a kind of weird question for you right now. Do you have a couch that kind of looks like a half moon or something like that, the way that it's shaped?
Not moon, but like L shape.
Okay, that'll work. So for everyone who's listening right now, you can't see Ydaiber's background. It's very pink, and even her microphone is white with a pink fuzzy windscreen, which kind of just looks like, I mean, almost like shag carpet in a sense, like but softer.
Mm-hmm.
And when you, I don't know, I may be the only one that finds this funny, but when you were talking about your husband, the struggle for him to open up and share his feelings with you, and how you guys have been together now for about 3 years, 4 years, forever 29. Yeah. And I just picture him like shirtless out in the garage, drinking beer and like working on the car. And you're like, get in here, you big sissy, and sit down on the couch and share your feelings. He just walks into this white room, like a pink couch, and just sits there like, with his leg or arms on his legs. Like, I'm going to be strong.
A couple of things, and you got it totally wrong. One is all the pink that you see in my life is specifically and very intentionally selected. I hated the color pink because for me, pink represented too feminine, too girly, too that, too weak at the end of the day. So I have made it an effort to be like, no, I'm going to bring more of this so I can remember to be in touch with my feminine side. So it's a very purposeful choice. Number one. Number two, my husband is anything but macho man. Like he is, some people will be like, he's a little soft. And he's like, and I love that. And I love that he's able to be that and be comfortable with that. And, sure, he'll drink a beer, but the shirtless mechanic thing, oh my God, that would be really funny to even imagine that. And I do not have a pink couch or white couch or anything like that.
And it's not shaped like a
and it's not a moon. No, not at all. But that's a very funny image.
I just pictured the room. Yeah, it's like a lighter shade of pink, but the room is white. And I didn't see much decoration on the walls. It was just like with little windows at the top. So there was enough sunlight coming through. And now I'm picturing him sitting on the couch, still shirtless, but with a wrench in his hand, but still like that same posture, but the wrench is on his cheek. As you're like, okay, let's talk about your feelings.
No, not to the image. Yes to the conversation. I've done that where I've been like, okay, let's talk about it. How are you feeling? And the first few minutes are like, we're not getting anywhere. It's just like, fine. No. Okay, come on. And then he'll start opening up. But it has to be, again, a very intentional thing. I don't think he will normally come to me and say, hey, I got to talk to you. I'm feeling this. No, usually I have to initiate it. So that part, yeah, 100%. The image, no.
Oh, and also for everyone, I've never met her husband. So the image in my head was just of a nondescript man. So it's not like I'm actually picturing him.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, no disrespect to him whatsoever.
Oh, no, please. And when you get to know him and you will see that he won't even care. He's that kind of guy. He's like, he'll find it funny too.
So would he not be the kind who maybe not coming in without the shirt on, but when he sits down on the couch and you're going through that whole thing, okay, let's talk about your feelings. Like, he gets all frustrated. And that's when he walks out of the garage and takes his shirt off and protests that and then comes back in.
No, that's going to be a no.
Okay.
Not at all.
Now, because I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a loophole. Maybe it's not taking the shirt off because it's like a t-shirt. Maybe it's like a, buttoned up. Never mind. I'm taking this way too. You know how us creatives get.
I know.
It's
and
like
I love that.
We write these scenes in our head of what would this look like? Like, where can we find the comedy in the situation and where can the heart come from?
Oh, trust me. And there's a lot of comedy in this house. There's definitely a lot of comedy. And sometimes we're laughing and we're like, oh my God, nobody else would laugh at this. But you know what? That's the beauty of relationships, and intimacy. When you get to a place where you're able to have silly conversations and make light of it, and at the same time, cry 5 minutes later because you're feeling fat. That's how it is. That's how it goes. So yeah. So wrong image, good sentiment. And good perception of what the conversation is like, because that's what it feels like.
Well, to bookend it, I am now seeing him going to sleep with a wrench in his hand while he's laying on the pillow. It's like a big greasy wrench, in which that's like the only time you're ever letting him bring it into bed because you don't want to get the grease on the lighter pillows. And I was like, good job, honey. You opened up today. So you can bring the wrench to bed.
He's a Virgo. He's extremely meticulous, extremely clean. Like, I am the messy one in the house. And this is a constant. This is one of those things where he's always picking up after me and he gets annoyed and he's like, he doesn't say it, but I can see the frustration, but yeah, he's that kind of like, will do the laundry every day if he could. I'm like that. Yeah. He's extremely Virgo vibe.
Yeah. I'm staying tight-lipped on that one.
Yeah.
Look, every sign has its higher and lower octave, because then I'm also like picturing in my head how awesome that would be to live with a Virgo. But then also how stressful that would be to
Oh
live with a
yeah.
Virgo.
Oh yeah. And the frustration, that's what happens sometimes. The frustration comes from him not expressing that he's annoyed I left a mess.
Mhm.
And me being like, why are you so anal? I'm like, we have two dogs, there's gonna be hair, it just happens. But so instead of the wrench, you're probably seeing more like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
That's what he carries all day long. Like, do you really need to vacuum again? That's more like it.
I think it's also better than the alternative, though.
Agree. 100%. 100%. And I'm not that messy. I'm just like a little,
Well, you are to him.
yeah, exactly. To him, I'm super messy.
So for everyone who's listening right now who's not really familiar with astrology, Virgos, not just Virgo suns, but if you have a lot of Virgo placements in your chart, Virgo is notorious for being very neat and clean. Like they like a lot of, I mean, structure to us. Yeah. I mean, it's also a Capricorn thing and I mean, a Taurus thing. I mean, not to, stereotype the signs, but I guess the best example I can also give you beyond just cleaning around the house is I knew someone who was a Virgo. I'm sorry, not a Virgo, but had a lot of Virgo placements in the personal planets. And she showed me a notebook of all of her notes from school. And it was color coded to the max. I couldn't believe it. Everything was so neat, well organized. Whereas for me, if I'm scribbling notes, it looks like, well, it looks bad. I'll put it that way. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey, how much time did you spend on this? Well, it's just, and I understand why she kept that notebook all those years later because it was just so pretty. And a
Yeah.
subject that I didn't understand, but man, was it
very
was
methodical.
it very organized.
Yeah, there's a method to everything. Then there's a way to do things, and it's like,
And it has
sometimes
to be
it's
that
just
way.
like- and then I'm like, this is how I do it. Okay,
Yeah.
leave me alone.
Right. If you're stirring the macaroni or something, you can't go back and forth. It's
Yeah.
got to be in a clockwise motion. And then you have to go in a counterclockwise motion about 20 seconds later. And then you can go back and forth for about 3 seconds. And then you got to go back to counterclockwise and then back to clockwise.
Yeah, I'm like, I do not. Whenever I'm doing something, I'm like, I do not need supervision. Walk away right now, because he loves to hover, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it your way. I'm gonna do it my way. Go, 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 go. But yeah, it happens. It happens a lot.
Is that when he goes out to the garage to straighten up his tools?
There's no garage and there's no tools.
It's worth a try. Okay, so we're gonna play a little game right now.
Okay.
This is called the Saturn game. In this little baggie, I have 4 different periods of time.
Okay.
So I'm going to, well, as you can see, I'm going to look away because I like to maintain the integrity of the game. So you see, I'm mixing it
looking
up, but I'm
away.
not looking. Taking my hand out. So you see, I didn't pick one in particular. See, I'm
Okay.
swirling
Oh, I'm nervous
Hand
now.
out.
What are we doing?
and then make sure I'm talking to the mic. And third time, just peeked out a bit, but now I'm going to go in and get one. So Ydaiber, how have you grown in the past month?
Ooh. I think the universe wanted you to ask me that. So exactly a month ago, on December 27th, I had a really bad, scary health thing came up. And at some point between December 27th and January 26th, probably, I thought I was going to die. And not to make light of it, it really was intense. It really was extremely painful. There was a lot of tears in between the symptoms that I was feeling, where I was running out of breath, feeling palpitations left and right, feeling pain in my heart area, seeing a cardiologist, a regular doctor, a functional doctor, getting an MRI, getting a mammogram, getting all these extra tests. One night, I woke up after being in bed for an hour, so not even getting enough sleep. And I woke up with a panic attack, really bad one. I have had panic attacks before. This was probably one of the top 3 panic attacks I have ever had. My husband Leo knows how to proceed most of the time in times like those. He got a bowl with ice and water, helped me make sure get your head in the water with ice so that will help to stop the panic attack. We did that, sort of stopped, still crying, all of that thing happening. And then I don't know if I told you or if I mentioned it in this podcast, but I feel like I get messages in my head. It's not like I hear sounds or words, but I get either words of images in my head, kind of like what happened with my sister. When my dad was passing, I heard the words "follow your light," and then my business is now called Rekindle Your Light. So there's definitely a connection on how I've been guided for different reasons. And that night, the image that came up was Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I was like, okay, I know who Joe Dispenza is. I have kind of listened to his books before, but never got through it them because it felt really dense at that time. Seen a couple of his videos, watched a couple of podcasts with him, perhaps, just never really resonated fully. But that's the message I got. So as soon as I'm kind of breathing back to normal, I started, this is like 1 a.m. in the morning, in the middle of the week. I start playing his videos on YouTube. And all of a sudden, everything starts resonating for the first time. Like, it's almost like I have been acquiring the language, the vocabulary, the essence of his work over the last few years. And now things are kind of like, oh, I know what he's talking about. And now this is making sense. And that led me to understand that the work that I'm doing, I've done a lot of spiritual work and I've done a lot of physical medical work. But part of the work that I'm doing for myself is around rewiring my brain, like learning to operate from a place of having a nervous system that is completely neutral and balanced. So my main focus right now, in addition to all the other physical stuff that I just shared, is how do I bring my nervous system back to neutral, back to balance. And what that is leading me into is how do I give that to my clients too, right? And I have discovered literally in the last month that part of the beauty of what I do as a coach is bringing this woo-woo part that I love so much, this spiritual thing that I love so much, but also making it practical for people. Also backing it with science, backing it with facts, with evidence, with studies, with knowledge. And I feel like I am my own guinea pig right now, so that I could eventually share this work in a way that can continue to help me make an impact on people's lives, since that's my biggest value. So believe it or not, in 1 month, the growth has been exponential. It has been fast forwarded because of how intense my body was screaming. And I feel that now that I'm starting to go back to that state of balance, my brain is starting to see the dots and connecting the things. And I still don't fully know what it looks like. It's not fully fleshed yet. But literally today, I relaunched my newsletter. I have a newsletter that I was using it mostly to promote my podcast, but now I just relaunched it and called it The Bridge, because I'm bridging that part, that beautiful part of spirituality with practicality. And what I'm bringing is, whether it's stories, my own stories, client stories, or tips and tools for people to know how to incorporate these things in their daily lives, things that are not that complicated. Things like, I didn't know that if you put the tip of your tongue behind your upper teeth, that's the ideal rest place for your tongue, and therefore it helps your nervous system calm down. I didn't know that single tip. Something so simple. And I've been working on that, and I noticed that every time that I do it, I go back into balance. And I was like, So little things like that. So anyways, super long explanation, but that's how much I feel I have grown in just 1 month, exactly 1 month.
I can't think of anything quick and witty to say. That was great.
Because it was so much. I just inundated you with so much information.
I mean, I think it's fascinating, just like you said. Like, I think you were supposed to share that, because the other time periods on the pieces of paper were day, week, month, and year. So, I mean, 1 in 4 chance, but
Yeah, I mean,
And
I'm telling you, to the date, like what are the chances, right? I got that blood test done on December 27th. Today is January 27th. And this is the first day I told you before we started. It's the first day that I'm like, I'm feeling good. I'm actually feeling good today. It's a
Mhm.
good day.
that was something. And I mean, now you got me thinking about just the placement of the tongue and
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah,
that
we
does
don't think
calm me.
about it. Yeah.
So how can everyone work with you?
So you can work with me by going to my website at rekindleyourlight.com. You can find me on social media. I'm the only person in the world with this name. So as long as you type it correctly, Ydaiber, then you find me. So very easy.
How do you spell it?
Ydaiber.
And what are your offerings?
So I work both with people one-on-one or in a group format. I have a group starting probably right in the spring. I want to kind of do it for the real new year. And in that group, we go through a 90-day program where we get to talk about manifestation and practices for bringing abundance into your life and soul purpose. We do a little bit of emotion code. We do a little bit of human design as well. And then in my one-on-one, there's a lot more flexibility the way that I work with people. So whether it's biweekly or weekly, but yeah, those are my offerings.
Well, everyone, you can check that out in the show notes. And thank you so much for coming on today. This has been an enlightening episode.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I will always, always remember how I manifested you, how I said, I really want to get a past life regression. And then you showed up, like literally, like within the day. So I find that fascinating.
So I'm just a pawn. That's it.
I used you.
Well,
No, we were meant to be connected. And your episode in my podcast is one of my favorite episodes. I have listened to that episode so many times. So, I mean, I re-listened to it. That tells you that how much I love it. And people always tell me like, oh my God, that's such a good episode. It's really good. It's really precious.
thank you. I enjoyed your podcast.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's just crazy the way that things work out because yeah, we have mutual, I mean, I don't think contacts is the right word, but well,
Connections.
yeah, connections. I mean, even yesterday, another one of my clients knows you and I
Oh,
had her on. Well, no,
interesting.
not yes. I mean, I recorded with her yesterday
Uh-huh.
and yeah, and she knows you. You guys work together and
Oh, I need to know who that is.
yeah, Angie.
Oh, yeah. My manager. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. She's my acting manager. Yeah, she's awesome.
yeah, this is where I get tongue tied and the universe just works in mysterious ways because I think it was Angie that let me know that she knew you because when I was on your podcast and posted about it, it's like, wait, how do you know her? she's my
Interesting.
she's my client. I was like, well, so
Love it.
just thank you so much for coming on. And I always like to finish every episode by saying, yay.
Yay.
Fellow time travelers, your journey through time awaits you. Just want to thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. And if you're interested in discovering who, when, and where you have been throughout time, and you'd like to book a session with me, just go ahead and send me a message on Instagram at The Past Life Regressionist, or you can reach me through my website, yourpastliferegressionist.com.